At some point, San Diego stops feeling like a reward and starts feeling like a treadmill. It's a feeling you get that you're constantly optimizing your life rather than actually living it. You're not burned out on San Diego, you're just burning out on the pace of it. That's why Palm Springs is quickly becoming the answer a lot of people didn't know they were looking for. I'm Glen Nadeau, and the San Diego-based folks I hear from most aren't looking to escape, they're looking to exhale. So let's explore exactly what changes and what you actually need to know when you're considering making the move to Palm Springs. If you have questions, drop them in the comments below. Let's dive in. The people I hear from who are exploring this move almost never say they hate San Diego. It's a very specific kind of frustration. You're earning well, you're working hard, and yet the math doesn't fully add up. A Realtor.com analysis ranks San Diego as the fourth most expensive housing market in the nation, requiring more than $258,000 a year just to afford a median-priced home. The United Way's real cost measures found that a family of four in San Diego County needs more than $116,000 annually just to cover basic needs, and that 42% of local households spend more than 30% of their income on housing. Numbers like that explain why people who are genuinely successful still feel financially compressed. Housing, utilities, insurance, and the ordinary expenses of daily life have a way of colliding all at once in a city like San Diego. And the result is a kind of background noise that never fully goes away. For other people, the search begins differently. Remote work changed the calculation. An empty nest changed the calculation. A relationship, a health shift, and a desire for something more intentional, these are all phase-of-life triggers, and the question Palm Springs buyers are starting to ask is, does my daily environment still match the life I actually want to be living? Some people want more space, more privacy, and a home they can actually design rather than just afford. Some want a stronger sense of community, a smaller city where it's easier to be known, to participate, and to feel genuinely at home. And some are starting to think about their next chapter and realizing they'd rather plant their roots now than wait until everything lines up perfectly. I work with all of these people, and the one thing they share is that they're not running from San Diego. They're running towards something different. Let me be straightforward here, because I think a lot of relocation content gets this wrong in one of two directions. Either overselling Palm Springs as dramatically cheap or buying the true comparison under too many caveats. The housing cost difference is real and meaningful. As of 2026, Redfin placed the median sale price of San Diego at around $950,000. The Palm Springs median for the same period was approximately $610,000. Price per square foot in San Diego was running around $686, and in Palm Springs it was closer to $429. For buyers working with a budget of $800,000 to $1.5 million or above, that gap translates directly into what kind of home and lifestyle you can actually assess. In San Diego, at that budget, you may be competing hard, waiving contingencies, and still ending up in something smaller or farther from where you wanted to be. In Palm Springs, at that budget, the conversation shifts. You start asking different questions. Not what do I have to give up, but what does this home make possible? A pool, a mountain view, a mid-century property with real architectural character, guest casita, a private courtyard. The dream stops being theoretical. The market experience itself feels different. Redfin describes San Diego as a very competitive market, with homes typically going pending in about 25 days, and many properties receiving multiple offers. Palm Springs runs about 70 days on market, with average homes selling at roughly 3% below list price. That slower pace isn't a sign of weakness. For many buyers, it's a relief. The ability to think, compare, negotiate, and actually choose is worth more than people realize until they've spent months fighting a home they didn't fully want. Of course, Palm Springs is not San Diego, but it is cheaper across the board. That said, the greater Palm Springs cost of living runs about 20% above the national average. Utility costs are shaped by summer air conditioning and pool upkeep. Average energy bills have been cited around $220 a month, and that number climbs in larger homes or during peak summer months. Pool maintenance, landscaping, water-wise irrigation, and HOA dues in certain communities can all add to the monthly picture. The right way to think about this comparison isn't how much less will I spend, it's how much more home, how much more space, and how much more lifestyle can I access at the same investment. For most buyers in that $800K plus range, the answer is considerably more. San Diego's climate is one of its most compelling advantages, and I want to acknowledge that fully before I talk about what's different in the desert. San Diego enjoys what climate scientists classify as a Mediterranean climate. Average annual highs around 71 degrees, lows around 59 degrees, and monthly averages that stay beautifully predictable. The ocean moderates everything. There's rarely a day that feels truly extreme, and the coastal microclimates mean you can almost always find comfort. That's what people pay the premium for, and they're getting what they pay for. Palm Springs is a fundamentally different bargain. Best Places reports 269 sunny days a year, about 5 inches of annual rainfall, and a July high around 108. There are roughly 174 days a year where temperatures climb above 90 degrees. Summer in Palm Springs is real, and I'm not going to soften that for you. If you're coming from San Diego coast, the first August here will feel a little different. What I tell people and what I've watched hold true for nearly every client who makes this move is that summer in Palm Springs isn't a problem you endure. It's a season you learn to live with intentionally. You shift your routine. Errands happen before 9 a.m. Evenings are for the pool, the patio, the long dinner outside once the sun drops behind the San Jacinto Mountains. Some people travel in July and August. Others discover that 110 degrees with a cold drink and a pool is generally more enjoyable. And of course, the AC is always there when you need it. The trade-off that makes people stay and come back again before finally committing is what Palm Springs delivers from October through May. The winters here are transcendent. Clear skies, crisp mornings, hiking conditions that feel like a gift, outdoor dining that runs until late night, and mountain views that shift color from sunrise to dusk. The spring wildflower season in the surrounding desert is something people drive hours to see. Palm Springs earns its reputation 9 months out of the year, and the other 3 give you a really good reason to plan a trip. The question isn't which climate is objectively better. The question is which climate fits the life you're designing. San Diego rewards consistency. Palm Springs rewards intention. This is where the Palm Springs conversation really opens up, and it's where I spend the most time with my clients who are seriously considering the move. In San Diego, a well-qualified buyer working with a budget in the $900,000 to $1.2 million range is often still navigating compromise. Maybe it's location, farther from the coast than you wanted. Maybe it's size, maybe it's condition. The combination of high prices, limited inventory, and a fast market means decisions get made quickly and sometimes under pressure. Many buyers accept something they wouldn't have chosen at a slower pace. In Palm Springs, the same budget enters an entirely different conversation. Architectural pedigree here is extraordinary. The city is one of the most significant collections of mid-century modern residential design in the world. A home by a notable architect, fully restored with a private pool, walled courtyard, and unobstructed mountain views is achievable in that range that would buy you a 2-bedroom condo near the water in San Diego. Beyond architecture, the lifestyle profile of the Palm Springs home is fundamentally different. Outdoor living here isn't a feature. It's the structure of daily life for most of the year. The indoor-outdoor relationship in desert architecture is something you feel from the moment you step inside. Glass walls that open to the pool, a covered patio that becomes your morning office from November through April. Guest rooms that fill up from the moment you friends realize you have a pool in the desert. For buyers thinking about long-term value, there's also a strategic dimension worth naming directly. If you have any desire to eventually retire in Palm Springs, even if that's 5 or 10 years away, there's a strong case for purchasing now, not later. Let the home sit in your portfolio while someone else helps pay down the mortgage. Let equity build. Let appreciation do its quiet, patient work. Then move in when the timing lines up for you. The home will be there waiting. That strategy works especially well in Palm Springs because of the short-term rental market here. It's structured and regulated in a way that protects both neighborhoods and owners. The city requires a vacation rental registration certificate, and there's a cap. 20% of homes in a given neighborhood can hold a permit at one time. That means choosing the right property and the right location matters enormously. The homes that qualify in the right neighborhoods with the right permit structure can generate meaningful rental income during peak season. Part of my job in those early conversations is making sure we understand the specific landscape of each property before a purchase decision is made, so that the income potential, the equity growth, and the long-term lifestyle goals all align. Not every home qualifies and not every neighborhood is the right fit. That's exactly why the upfront conversation matters. The comparison between these two cities deserves more nuance than it usually gets because it matters to a lot of people making this move. San Diego is a generally inclusive city. Hillcrest is a well-established LGBTQ+ neighborhood with real history, real community, infrastructure, and a pride celebration that reflects the city's broader diversity and acceptance. The restaurant scene, arts community, and social life available in San Diego are rich and layered. For anyone coming from a less progressive part of the country, San Diego can feel like a revelation. That's worth honoring. Palm Springs is different in a specific way. Here, LGBTQ+ identity isn't concentrated in one neighborhood or one part of the calendar. It's woven into the civic, social, and commercial life of the entire city. Nearly half of Palm Springs residents identify as LGBTQ+. The Transgender Health and Wellness Center, the LGBTQ+ Community Center of the Desert, the Arenas District, and the year-round calendar of pride-oriented events are all part of what makes this place feel structurally different from even the most inclusive large cities. Palm Springs Pride, which traces its origins to 1986, has grown into a 4-day celebration drawing 150,000 people from across the country and the world, is one marker of that depth. But the more meaningful indicator, to me, is what daily life feels like. People who move here from larger cities often describe a palpable shift, the sense that their identity is simply part of the social fabric, not something they navigate around. That's the difference between large city diversity and small city visibility. For buyers who are LGBTQ+, or who are part of a creative, design-forward, or lifestyle-first communities, Palm Springs tends to feel socially legible very quickly. Community here deepens with engagement, but the first connections come fast. The social life is generally warm, the networks overlap in interesting ways, and the calendar of events, from Modernism Week to the Desert Film Circuit, gives people real anchors for building a social life rather than starting from scratch. That said, Palm Springs is a small city. The professional network is smaller. If you need the density of options that a major metro provides in any dimension of life, that's a real consideration. The fit works best when community, visibility, creative culture, and the desert ease rank higher on your list than career infrastructure or the kind of anonymity that lets you disappear into the city of 3 million people. Before I wrap this up, I want to speak directly to a few questions that people relocating from San Diego always ask. Is Palm Springs actually cheaper than San Diego? For housing, yes, and the difference is significant. The median sales price gap runs over $300,000 in the current market data, and the price per square foot difference is even more telling. But the total cost of living in Palm Springs is still about 20% above the national average. The better framing is, what does my dollar buy here compared to San Diego? For most buyers in the $800K plus range, the answer is considerably more home, more space, more lifestyle, and more long-term optionality. Can I actually handle the Palm Springs summer after living in San Diego? Most people can, and do, but it generally requires a mindset shift that coastal Californians sometimes underestimate. San Diego's forgiving climate means you never have to think too hard about the weather. Palm Springs requires you to be in a relationship with your climate rather than just comfortable inside it. The people who thrive here plan around summer rather than against it. Many buyers even plan their travel during the hottest stretch, manage expectations, and the summers are far more livable than they sound on paper. What kind of home can I actually get in Palm Springs compared to San Diego? This is where the comparison gets exciting for most buyers. At $800,000 to $1.2 million in Palm Springs, the market opens up in ways that simply aren't available at the same price point in San Diego. Architectural character, pools, privacy, mountain views, larger lots, guest space, all of these become realistic, not aspirational. The caveat is that neighborhood fit matters enormously, and not all areas of the Coachella Valley offer the same lifestyle. Palm Springs proper, South Palm Springs, the Movie Colony, and neighborhoods like Old Las Palmas each have their own character. Part of what I do with clients is make sure the specific property and neighborhood align with how they actually intend to live, not just what photographs well. Is Palm Springs better as a second home or a full-time home? Genuinely, it can be either. Full-time living works best for people who have portable or remote income, retirement income, or are already employed locally. The job market in the Coachella Valley is narrower than San Diego's. It skews towards hospitality, healthcare, and professional services. If your income depends on a San Diego-based employer, it's not exactly an ideal daily commute at 120 miles each direction. But as a second home that becomes a primary over time, Palm Springs has an unusually clean second home to primary migration path. Many of the most committed full-time residents I know started as weekend visitors, graduated to seasonal stays, and eventually just never went back. Will I miss the ocean? Some people do miss the ocean, but the desert offers poolside culture, distinct mountain views that are beautifully dramatic, air that is dry and clear in the ways that feels most medicinal, and an outdoor lifestyle from fall through spring that is second to none. What I find more often than not is that people who've made the move realize they were attached to the idea of the ocean more than the daily reality of it. San Diego is 2 hours away, and Palm Springs International Airport makes the Pacific even more accessible than that. If you need the depth of infrastructure that comes with a major coastal metro, a large hospital system with every specialty, a dense professional network, major universities, beach access daily, or the kind of social variety that only comes with a city of over 1 million people, Palm Springs may be a great second home, but it probably isn't your primary city yet. If you're in a phase of life where the pace matters most, where space, privacy, design, community, and a lower daily friction feel more important than maximum career access and coastal convenience, Palm Springs starts to make profound sense. Remote professionals, empty nesters, lifestyle-first buyers, design enthusiasts, LGBTQ+ community seekers, and people who are building towards a retirement that feels like a life rather than a logistical retreat, these are the people I work with the most, and these are the people I watch thrive here. For a lot of people watching this, Palm Springs isn't an immediate move. It's a 5 to 10 year idea that's starting to feel real, and that's actually the most strategic place to be in this market right now. The buyers who will look back with real satisfaction are the ones who understand that timing in real estate is rarely about perfect certainty. It's about getting in front of the life you would rather than behind it. If Palm Springs is the next chapter, then it's already worth starting to plan. That means understanding the inventory, the neighborhoods, the short-term rental landscape if income is part of the strategy, and what your budget actually buys in this market. The home you buy today can work for you long before you move into it full-time. If Palm Springs is starting to feel like a future chapter, I'm always happy to talk things through. Most people who reach out to me directly aren't ready to move tomorrow. They just want clarity. I work with buyers and sellers like you every week, mapping smart timelines and options that actually fit real life. You can call or text me directly or use the contact links in the description. No pressure, just perspective. If you haven't yet already, please like this video and subscribe to my channel for more exciting changes, developments, and opportunities taking place here in Palm Springs and the Coachella Valley. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.